Kurse, Kurse. We need to kill all goblins. Repeat, all goblins.
Must be destroyed.
Goblin Slayer. My God, this is probably going to be the new show that is going to just get hit with different types of reviews all over the world, and rightfully so with how controversial some of the things are inside of this episode alone. Not to add that, there's still more to come. And from what I've heard from reliable sources of, some of the homies out there that be doing research that I get to talk to and reach out to, this series is going to probably see even more of, what we're seeing probably to an even higher degree. So it's very, very easy to say that this show is 100%, 100%. It's 100% not for everybody, including not for young people. So for everybody that's out there that keeps saying anime is for kids and stuff, bruh, show them Goblin Slayer and be like, you gonna show this to your kid? You're sick. You're sick. Um, but what overall, the Goblin Slayer is doing something that I really didn't expect it to do this early for me anyway. But that's make me feel charismatic for this character, or just feel like there's something huge lying in wait underneath the reveal of him finally coming to, the fruition of just like he lost everything, and he's been working very hard to pretty much better every single person around him by only focusing on certain type of a species or a monster, if you will. And that alone is very honorable. But if you think about it in this day and age, when he is, almost the highest rank you can be, and the only thing he hunts is, the weakest thing that even of rookies can go out and hunt if they have four people, on a good day. And we see in this week's episode that it is possible for these rookies, if they know what they're doing, to come out. Um, Hints that they didn't really show us, like anything of what happened there. Even though we know that our main priestess girl really wanted to go out of her way to, help, at least to help those people out, but not being able to, but to see them come back alive kind of gives you that feeling that this show isn't going to be all devoid of hope, but it's just going to have very heart-wrenching moments that if you see it, you're gonna feel it. Like you just can't get around getting in the feels or just feeling disgusted, because that's how he's trying to make you feel, because it is disgusting, and those are things that could easily happen in this day and age, which, people want to also not look at and take, note of. So that's also why this show has such a controversial standing behind it, is because these are the things people are afraid to see, um, even if it is in a movie, even if it is in a show. These are things that always get very, very objectified. And the thing I'm talking about is the R word. But the best part of this is after seeing it one time, they shouldn't need to repeatedly spam it on us. You know what I mean? Like, we understand that they're not afraid to go there. I mean, hence they blacked out the goblin, or she was wearing like some weird fur thing that was hiding everything. But at the end of the day, all it takes is for these anime studios to drop another type of episode, the same episode, episode one, but just throw in an uncut on there, and all of it is shown all of a sudden, So they were um, smart enough to go with that type of copy to not have anything overly shown. I mean, it's easy to picture what's going on just by the way it was illustrated and shown. Um, so to have this episode and just be mainly focused on a girl that grew up with the Goblin Slayer, and never really had any true bias against him. It's like having a true, real best friend that will stand up for you pretty much through thick and thin, and then all of a sudden, you being the Goblin Slayer, lose everything and completely are traumatized for the rest of your life, and then I'm guessing he left and then came back, like she said, when he returned like 5 or 6 years ago. I'm guessing that's when he probably was already renounced, Goblin Slayer, or he's already had been grinding towards it because ever since he returned, that's what he was doing. He was doing things to protect them from the goblins that might have been coming at night or scouting them at night to be ready to attack them again the next night. So these are the things that are really easy to forget those small details about that because remember, he didn't show up for multiple nights, at least 2 to 3 nights during the end of this. So it goes to show you that not only are they putting out these little hints and stuff that very bad things can come around the corner, even for his character, which I mean, the guy he eats danger for breakfast pretty much. So that's no surprise. But to know that the one place that is the last place he pretty much would never want to get hit, um, I think he already knows that that's a possibility. That's just what goblins do. They hit those types of places because they're easy, they're not guarded, and on top of that, they get everything they want out of it, and then they can just move on to the next place without even. Because, like he said, when the goblins attack, it's like they move in and they're just having fun. It's like us moving on top of an ant hill. Like the ants aren't gonna do much to a human unless they're like some crazy strong ants, like some army ants or something. Then I don't know why you even were messing with them. But if we moved over and we were like on top of a whole bunch of ants that are just like mind their own business and trying to get away or walk away, that's pretty much how it would be for goblins. Like they would just be jumping on the corpses, beating them up, torturing them, using them as playthings. So it's like these are things that's so scary, in my opinion, that we've seen humans do and laugh about it. We've seen various, things on the internet that have shown this, so this is not surprising to me when it comes down to being in an anime because anime is usually the sources of that aren't afraid to go against the public standing. So if you don't understand why people can watch Goblin Slayer, you either watched it yourself and probably were so lost in the what was going on, you kind of miss what is being presented. And what's being presented is what happens to someone if you completely break them to having nothing and believing they're nothing and that they can do nothing well besides one thing, and that's to kill these goblins. And when he saw what he saw, to what happened to his sister, which thank God they didn't need to go into further detail, or like he watched everything that we watched in the cave, he watched it while inside of a closet with one eye poking out. Okay, like that's enough to understand where that's going. But of course, some people want to see that, and that's going to be a complaint for some of those people out there that wanted to see in full detail. But I don't care. That's where the show resonates with me. It's because they've already shown me where they're willing to go. So I don't need to relive it with just a new character in a worse situation than the other characters who had fighting weapons, and this his sister having being in a farm, maybe having a pitchfork or some type of farming weapon, So to know that this Goblin Slayer was created the same way the goblins are created every time they attack and gain experience, and one gets stronger and stays back and guards the nest of the other ones that are trying to breed and all this other stuff. He is pretty much that. And I thought that was more of the moral of the story is regardless of what you do in this world, regardless of who you attack, you are making an enemy out of someone somewhere, and they didn't know when or what that enemy could have been, and I don't think they would have thought it would have been one of the tiniest kids that they left alive in the town, just like how the girl wanted to leave those goblin kids alive, you know. Now all of a sudden, look, you leave a human kid alive, he becomes the goblin slayer. What do you think, you know, one of those guys would have became after, you know, seeing what the goblin slayer did and regards of wanting to do to humans comparatively compared to what they've already done. So it's like an never-ending cycle of this disgusting creation of immoral, like death-loving on certain types of people, beings that they're being created just because they're both living their lives the way that I guess they want to. You know, goblins aren't living the way that other peoples want them to, and humans are living the way that they want to. So who knows who's to fully be to blame for this, but I mean, so far the goblins have no side of this story to be able to back them up to show that they're not bad people, besides that their kids were young and not trying to attack and pick up arms and stuff like that. Um, but to be fair, the kids were put in the back of a room with a wall, like a something blocking them. So they could have been out there, and the parents just knew something was going on, so they pulled them back. So who knows, man? I really like this show. I'm seeing a lot of bad reviews and good reviews, so that's what a show is supposed to be. It's supposed to make people think. It's supposed to make people feel uncomfortable because if you keep going against not against the grain, you're just going to come out with a show that can be easily forgot or easily uh, replaced by thinking of it as a different show. Goblin Slayer cannot be like that because these people are going to remember all of these like defiling things, you know? So I think that's why Devilman Crybaby had such a big racket about it, is because it had so much things that the public and the audience was probably not prepared for. And then when they saw it, you know, that was it. They're like, either they hated it or they loved it. So with that, everybody, I hope you enjoyed. I want to know your guys' feelings on how uh, Goblin Slayer makes you feel. Do you see a way to be able to enjoy this show without really worrying about all the controversy around it, or do you just see it how everybody who's controversial about it sees it? Do you not like it because it's showing certain things that shouldn't be shown in your opinion, or is this going too far? What is your guys' take on this? But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys have a good one. I will talk to you in the next one. Saturday is one of the greatest days ever right now. I am watching Sword Art and about to watch Fairy Tail very soon, so make sure you subscribe with the notifications on. I will be dropping as much content as I can today before I go back on Call of Duty, so keep your eyes and ears out, everybody, and take care. All right. Peace.